ABC of marketing. So a product is anything that can be offered to an individual to satisfy a need or a want. So there are four P's of marketing, which is product, price, promotion, and place. I think product is the most important out of these four because without any product, the customer won't have anything to buy or the seller won't have anything to sell. And then a product, it shows if the customer is satisfied or not. Like holding the product, the customer can give his or her views on it. And then I think, yeah, that's the introduction.
Uh, just like Manya said, that product is what defines the user, is what defines whether a user is satisfied or not. And we know that whenever we talk about a product or about a company or uh, anything in general as such, when it comes to the a product, we usually tend to measure its success by the number of users we have on board or the number of users who are satisfied by our product. And and a user is only satisfied when the product is good, and hence if a product is something the users love, then the marketing becomes very easy because ultimately the user is satisfy the product, which in turn helps us to bring in more users to the company. And hence, I believe that product is the ABC of marketing.
Also, without a product, the company won't have any revenue source because selling a product is what gets main profits from that sale. And also, if we look at iPhone, then iPhone keeps on getting new innovations in their products, which influence the customers to buy newer versions of iPhones. So I think innovation on the product is also very necessary. I also think
Just
that
like,
continue. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, sure. Uh, so, yeah, just like Manya said, uh, the advancements in the product with time is what for sure defines the success of the product. And and with innovation, the users will be able to use the products in a more simplified manner and would be able to make their life simplified with the use of these products. And ultimately, this is what we expect from our product to make the lives of our users more simpler, and hence product define the success of a company.
I would also like to say that only the product does not matter. The whole marketing mix has to be taken into account, all the four P's of marketing. But I think the product is the most essential of them all, and I would agree that it is the ABC of marketing.
I don't have much to speak on this anymore.
Try to give examples of successful and failed products.
Successful and failed products.
For successful, I would say iPhone, as I said, because the innovations in iPhones and the designs of iPhone, the product is what drives the customers to buy the product. And then I would say Tesla also. Tesla, I think everyone knows the brand Tesla because of the automated driving. So the product and the innovation are a huge part of the product success, like we discussed. And then we can also, for failed products, I think it could be, for example, any printer that catches on fire, that is a failed product, and that would lead to customer dissatisfaction, which would lead to the customers not buying the product. So management has to make sure that the product is appreciated by the customers.
Uh, just like Manya said, there with good technology like iPhones and Tesla cars are very successful products, and hence they were able to acquire too many users. Uh, Similarly, there could be uh, examples of multiple software programs like Canva or Adobe Photoshop, which have become very successful in the market and were able to acquire a very high user base for their products. But we see that there are multiple other websites on the web which also offer us various picture editing tools, but these are not very forefront in the market, and not many people know about them and don't use it. And hence, we see that if a product is very user friendly uh, uh, and is able to fulfill the demands of the users, then we see that it is able to uh, get a very huge user base, uh, which ultimately proves us that product is the ABC of marketing.
Can you discuss the nano car?
So the nano car was a car that was very famous in the early 2000s and the mid 2000s, because it was a cheaper option that was available to the, I think, middle class or the lower classes of society. However, the car had many problems which led to its downfall, and then then they had to remove it from its existence because people were not buying the product because it did not give them satisfaction that they really wanted. So that's why product is a very important feature in marketing.
Okay, fine. So this is about the four P's, like you said rightly, Manya, about product, place, price, and promotion. So we can talk a little bit about each of the four P's and then say that product is the basis of the other three P's. Okay. If you use all the P's and everything fits in and the product starts selling, but if there is some defect in the product, for example, the problem was a lot of bookings, but then somehow it didn't give a good feel to the customers, and it was not marketed as an economical car but as a cheap car. But in India, car is a status symbol, and so if you say car is cheap, then somehow it doesn't gel with the general public. And it was a two-cylinder or three-cylinder car, and gave the feel of an auto or something like that. Although a lot of people bought it, even very rich people bought it because there was so much of marketing around it, so much of gimmickry, and there was a lot of brouhaha about being the cheapest car in the world. But then it did not satisfy people for utility as well as for the purpose for which people buy car and status and all that, so it fails. So like that, if you can think of any other examples, we can give those. Like for example, Fair and Lovely used to be a cream earlier. Now it's called by some other name because there's a lot of social backlash that fairness is not beauty is not about fairness. So there's very in the name of the product, although the product is the same. You can talk, and for all this, you will need to read. You read Economic Times, any of you. Uh,
No.
in Economic Times,
I
you do.
I just started reading the Economic Times.
There is a supplement called Brand Equity, which is probably on Wednesdays, where they cover all the products and everything. So try to read that if you want to get some knowledge of what is happening currently in the marketing world. That will be a good source of information for you. They discuss a lot of marketing strategies of brands and why they succeed and why they fail. So you can do that. And there are books. There is a book called Positioning by Al Rice and Jack Trout. Now I think a newer version has come by Trout and Trout. If you can get hold of that book online or whatever, try to go through that positioning the uh, fight for the mind of the customer or something like that. Positioning by L. Rice and Jack Trout. So see, only two of you are there. The discussion lasts for 7-8 minutes. So individually you can speak for 3 minutes, 4 minutes like that. In an actual GD, there will be 8 people, and you are usually given 15 minutes. So you hardly get 2 minutes to speak on an average. So what you're doing now is fine, but obviously it is not good enough because you just started. So now you start reading newspapers, magazines, try to get more information about things happening around you, especially in marketing, Manya, if you're going for marketing. Finance
Okay.
we can take care of as we go along. Um, I already sent you some short notes on each functional area. You can go through that and then we'll refurbish it. We'll have some sessions on individual specializations also. So hopefully things will be clearer. Okay.
Okay.
And Ayush, I think you need to improve your fluency. Do you have a tendency to think in Hindi and then translate to English? Just asking.
Um, Not really.
Not really, because yeah, at your age that shouldn't happen. It usually starts happens in school, but then you start thinking in English and speaking in English. But try
No,
to
the
improve.
only problem with me is that my fluency in English is really bad right now because I don't at all converse in English with anyone, and I have not conversed in English with anyone since a few years now.
You have friends who are going for these interviews, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So when you are together in the groups, then try to speak in English, all of you. You try to get them to do that.
yeah.
It's only going to help you. I am not a very big fan of English, but then since that's the medium of instruction and medium of selection for all of us, so we have to be fluent in that. So I
Yeah.
think they agree also because they'll also probably need to brush up their fluency. Manya, your
Mm.
sound is a little casual, okay?
Okay, sir.
Sound a little casual, so you have to bring in a little more seriousness in the way you speak. These things are not very easy to change because that's how you've always been talking. But be aware of it and try to be more professional when you're taking part in discussions. You are coming across as being a little casual.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
And I also think that you should start writing essays because you go about explaining things in a very roundabout way, and by the time you get to the point, people have already lost interest.
Mm.
The point you have to be very direct when you're talking in a GD or in an interview also. You go around beating
Mm.
around the bush a lot, no? Then the interviewer will lose interest by the time you tell him what he wants to know. So he'll be
Mm-hmm.
reluctant to ask the next question. So that's why writing is important for all of you, and the topics are there. You can pick up any topic from anywhere and then write on it 200, 300 words and post it in the group. Okay. Manya, I think
Mm.
you the link to the Facebook group. I'll give it to you also, so you also practice that. Okay.
Okay.
For
Okay,
today,
sir.
be up to here. Tomorrow onwards, I think the others will also be there tomorrow, so we'll have better discussions or at least lengthier discussions. Okay.
So what are the class timings and when are the classes?
Classes are almost on daily basis. 8:45 to 9 o'clock we start. I'll inform you in advance by 6 p.m. whether it will be 8:45 or 9. Will that suit you?
Yes, sir.
For individual queries and doubts, you can always call me at any other time. Okay. Especially regarding the questionnaire which I have sent you of 50 questions for your interview. I think you will need to talk to me personally, so that you can do whenever you are ready and start preparing those questions.
Sir, could you take some mock personal interviews for me as well?
I'll be taking for everyone. The way we go about in the interviews is we do it in the class itself. So when you are being interviewed, there will be four other peers who will be interviewing you along with you.
Okay.
For example, if Ayush is being interviewed, you will also be asking him questions. So you get a feel of what the interviewer is thinking.
Okay.
So that way, you will give maybe 6 interviews of your own. You'll listen into around 40, 50 interviews of other people. So you'll be able to get a broader perspective of things.
Okay,
That's
sir.
it. Fine then. Good night for
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
today.
यस सर, मेरे को एक चीज ये पूछना था कि ये जो आई एम बॉम्बे लिख के आता है, आई एम मुंबई,
नीति था पहले।
हाँ
हाँ, पहले वो नीति था, NITI।
या सो उसका फॉर्म कुछ अलग से आता है. हाउ डू आई गो अबाउट फिलिंग इट? डू यू हैव एनी आइडिया अबाउट इट?
पहले जब नीति था तब तो अलग था, अभी IIM बॉम्बे करके था कैट के फॉर्म में।
था, मैंने फिर तो शायद फिल ही नहीं किया होगा. आई डोंट थिंक देयर वाज आई एम बॉम्बे.
क्योंकि IIM बनने का रीजन तो वही है कि उसको IIM में इंक्लूड होना था, फॉर्म में रहा होगा, नहीं तो उनका वेबसाइट एक बार चेक कर लो, क्योंकि वहां पे भी ना
फॉर्म
पहले
में तो
होता था इंजीनियरिंग वगैरह
नहीं है.
होता था, फॉर्म में नहीं है देख।
हम्म. नहीं, फॉर्म में तो नहीं है.
ठीक है, वो मैं चेक कर लेता हूँ, उनके साइट पे चेक कर लो।
अच्छा, आई एम मुंबई करके, आई एम बॉम्बे करके नहीं है. हाँ है.
IIM मुंबई टिक कियो।
हाँ हाँ है, टिक किया है मैंने.
हाँ, तो नीति
क्योंकि
जो
ये भी टॉप 5, ये 6th पे है शायद अभी, लास्ट ईयर NIRF रैंक के हिसाब से.
IIT बॉम्बे के पास में ही है,
हम्म.
और नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी इंडस्ट्रियल इंजीनियरिंग ऐसा कुछ था। तो
हम्म.
इंजीनियर्स को लेते थे यहाँ पे।
हम्म.
अभी 2 साल से शायद ये IIM मुंबई हो गया। तो इट्स
ओके.
एक्चुअली वन ऑफ द बेस्ट, एंड यहाँ सारी कंपनी जाती है रिक्रूटमेंट के लिए।
हम्म.
मेरे को रीजन नहीं पता इसको IIM मुंबई बनाने का, बट प्रॉब्ली दे वांटेड वन IIM मुंबई, तो इसी को कन्वर्ट कर दिया या ऐसा कुछ रहा हो।
हाँ. हम्म.
इट्स अ वेरी गुड स्कूल दैट आई कैन टेल।
Yeah, I was seeing they have good placement stats also, and good alumni network also.
हाँ, इट्स अ वेरी ओल्ड इंस्टीट्यूट, इट इज
हाँ.
एटलीस्ट 40 years old।
मैंने वो नहीं देखा था.
मैनेजमेंट ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल इंजीनियरिंग का था, बेसिकली ऑपरेशंस मैनेजमेंट वगैरह का फोकस था पहले यहाँ पे। जैसे MDI
इंडस्ट्रियल इंजीनियरिंग का. हाँ.
नीति का जो IE था ना, वो इंडस्ट्रियल इंजीनियरिंग था।
हाँ.
जैसे MDI गुड़गांव है ना,
हाँ.
वहाँ पहले ये ब्यूरोक्रेट्स की ट्रेनिंग होती थी। मैनेजमेंट डेवलपमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट जो था वो काफ़ी
हाँ.
अच्छा है उनका शायद। तो वहाँ पे पहले IAS IPS वगैरह की ट्रेनिंग होती थी। तो ये MDI स्टार्ट हुआ है करीब दो, मतलब 20 years अभी, जब इसको ओपन किया।
हम्म.
पहले नहीं तो गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर के लोगों की ट्रेनिंग होती
हम्म.
थी।
62 years old है. आई एम बॉम्बे, आई एम मुंबई,
हाँ,
मतलब बेसिकली NITI.
हाँ मतलब मैं इसलिए बोला 40 ईयर्स क्योंकि 1987 में वो था।
हम्म।
तो मैं श्योर नहीं था उसके पहले कितने साल से है। इट इज़ वन ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट लेक। पवई लेक के ऊपर ही है सर।
हम्म।
और बोलिए।
बस यही पूछना था, इसका मैं देख लूंगा फिर, इसका भी फॉर्म वॉर्म कुछ आएगा तो।
हाँ
एंड
देख,
ऑल्सो फ्यू।
IIT दिल्ली, बॉम्बे, खड़गपुर भी अच्छा है, एक बार अप्लाई कर देना।
हम्म।
जाना है कि नहीं वो मे में डिसाइड करेंगे, पर भर दो।
हाँ हाँ ठीक है। ऑल्सो IIM अमृतसर का मैंने फॉर्म भर दिया था। आज कुछ IIM संबलपुर का फॉर्म आया था, उसको भर के फायदा नहीं है ना? IIM काशीपुर का भी आया था।
अभी तुम सारा फॉर्म भरो, सारा इंटरव्यू दो, गेट अ फील ऑफ द होल थिंग, सिंस यू आर गोइंग थ्रू दिस। अगर अगले साल भी, इस साल तुमको कहीं नहीं भी जाना है तो तुम इस साल पूरा प्रोसेस फॉलो करो।
ठीक है।
5-6 इंटरव्यू दे दो, सब कर लो, वहाँ पे लोगों से मिलोगे और आइडिया लगेगा। जो रियल एक्सपीरियंस होता है ना वहाँ जाके,
हम्म।
इंटरव्यू में जाके, when you meet people, no, you've been trying for 3-4 years and then they get frustrated and then they take whatever they are getting. So you should get that idea
हम्म।
so that you are clear
हम्म।
next year.
हाँ हाँ
There are a lot of people
ठीक है।
who are always telling me, I don't want this, I don't want that. So I keep telling them,
हम्म।
try and get in, then we'll see where you want to go or not go.
हाँ
है ना? तो ये
ठीक है।
पूरा कंप्लीट करो जब कर रहे हो ना।
हाँ हाँ
नहीं भी जाना है तो इंटरव्यू दो कम से कम, जाके वहाँ लोगों से मिलोगे, देखोगे कितने अच्छे लोग हैं जो नहीं जा पा रहे हैं फॉर वेरियस रीजन। तब तुमको और क्लैरिटी होगा, और कोई रीजन नहीं है, सिर्फ क्लैरिटी के लिए।
हाँ ठीक है।
है ना? तो भर दो, उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है।
ठीक है।
चलो ठीक है, गुड नाइट।
गुड नाइट।